Welcome back to Game Talk from the Bench. I'm your host, Drew Bredo. Today I'm here with my guest, Andrew Bredo. And today I'm just gonna start it right off. We're talking NFL trades, we're talking NFL extensions, and some NBA news of what Shaq has said about Steph Curry in the past couple of days. We'll start right off. Geno Smith traded to the Las Vegas Raiders for a third round pick. Smith, 34, is coming off a down year. He only had 21 touchdowns. He had about 14, 15 INTs. Um, Kind of unexpected to me. What was your first reaction when the trade went down?
I liked it. I was reuniting with his old coach. I mean, I didn't hate it. I mean, we had Jimmy G was signed. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
Not Jimmy G. That one, no, that's not working. And then Gardner Minshew, I thought that was fine too. Let's see how it was. He just had a good year with the Colts, right? And then so I was like, okay, let's see how he in silver and black. Let's see how he does. And then Aiden O'Connell, we have him too, right? And so when I heard Geno Smith, and I didn't hate it. I mean, he's a two-time Pro Bowler.
yeah.
His last 3 years have been the most productive of his career. Um,
He was comeback player of
yeah,
the
he's
year.
okay. There you go. And last year, he threw 15 interceptions, but he had 21 touchdowns, 4,300 yards. Now, I don't think both Raiders combined did those stats. So that's what I'm saying. I was already kind of happy
Yeah,
about it. So
but yeah, it was down year. I mean, he had a new head coach, defensive minded head coach. I know Pete Carroll's a defensive minded head coach, but in his first year with where he started with Seattle in 2022, I mean, he threw for almost 4,300 yards. He had 30 touchdowns to 11 INTs. They had a 9-8 record. But they had 9-8 record in 22 and 23, and then last year they were 10-7. They just missed the playoffs by I think a tiebreaker. So I mean he's won games these past 3 years. He's been a good quarterback, and for the Raiders, I mean, it's the best quarterback they've had since Derek Carr. You know, he's better than Jimmy G. He's better than O'Connell. He's better than Minshew, and the Raiders are gonna move on from Minshew. They're gonna probably release him
yeah,
when free agency starts or post June 1st. So the QB spot is for Geno. But I think it's so for me it was unexpected because obviously they had the connections, him and Carroll.
yeah.
But the Raiders are at the sixth pick. They're in a spot that where they have a chance to draft one of the top QB guys. So them making that move makes it seem like okay, we're either gonna draft a guy, he's gonna sit behind him and learn, or they weren't really confident in having one of these guys be a day one starter. So for me, I mean, there's other guys, other options available. They could have went out and get Russell Wilson maybe, but I'm pretty sure the Pittsburgh wanted to extend him, or Justin Fields, see if he would hit the market. Traded for Kirk Cousins, but Atlanta, I don't think was willing to move him. Or we could have tried to give Sam Donald 40 million and hoped he played better than last year.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I liked out of all those guys you named right there, I like Geno Smith. I just
yeah,
think that he got his career revived with Carroll in Seattle. I mean, he just all that before that he's 2015, 2016, all those 265 yards passing, 33 yards passing is one of his stats for 2020, and then 2022, like you said, he's got nearly 4,300 yards and 30 touchdowns. Wow, that's so there's a lot of upside there that hopefully the Raiders could take advantage of and get a system going that he's going to thrive in. Yeah, I like the pick. Third rounder. I mean, that's doesn't seem like much to get yourself a Pro Bowl quarterback.
yeah, it doesn't. Especially they traded the one that they got for acquiring or for trading Devontae Adams. So
There
realistically,
you
they traded Adams for Smith.
go.
And yeah, it was great value. I mean, Smith's like I said, great guy. He's a mobile quarterback. He could win you games, and even I mean, yeah, even Aaron Rodgers was an option for Las Vegas. But they make the trade. They get Carroll's guy, and now you hope he could lead him to some wins. He's might be working on a contract extension for him for probably 2 more years. So they'll probably have him for 3 years. But I mean, now it's like okay, so what's Seattle doing in quarterback position wise? Because you released Tyler Lockett. DK
Mhm.
Metcalf asked for a trade, and then you traded Geno. So what? I mean, apparently they're up for Sam Darnold, but what do you think Seattle
DK,
goes out to do?
DK's coming to the Raiders now. it's
Yeah,
gonna be Seattle in Vegas, but yeah, I'm not sure where they go from here. Yeah, they obviously probably want to get themselves a free agent, someone there that they could sign, or maybe they go young. I'm not too sure. But for the Raiders, it kind of like when they sign a guy, Geno Smith's 34 years old, kind of remind me of when the Raiders got. I'm always going to go back to the old school days where they got Gannon. They signed Gannon in '99, and he was a free agent. Well, he was a free agent, but they signed him, and he was very successful in the system that was implemented with John Gruden, and he went on, had Pro Bowl years, won the
one
MVP
MVP.
once.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that'd be great to kind of copy that. Raiders never been a team that I could think of that where they drafted young or kind of wanted to
yeah.
mold somebody up. Aside from Derek Carr, but I mean they don't really want to. You're right. Like they said, they have a high draft pick. Maybe they need a quarterback, but I agree. I think he's going to sit behind Geno Smith a couple years until he learns the ins and outs of the NFL.
So yeah, that was like my next question. The Raiders at the sixth position. There's a chance. People are saying Shadur's falling down on draft boards. I mean, I think if he's at six, I think he's been compared to Geno Smith with his play style wise. So I think if he's there at six, I think you could draft him, have him sit a year or two, and then play him. But if him or Cam Ward's not there, I mean, what do you think what position wise do you think they draft? Do you think they go receiver or maybe corner?
I think if one of those quarterbacks is there at that position, you have to take them. I mean, it's not every year. It seems they're going a different position, and the last few years quarterback has been the problem. Well, one of the issues, one of the many issues, but sooner or later we do need to draft a quarterback. I know you could get him in the later rounds, but I just think that if you could get Sanders drops, which I mean I don't see that happening, but if it happens to, then yes,
Yeah.
let's get him. Let's get him and mold him behind Geno Smith but yeah, no, I'm excited about Geno Smith coming on board and just can't wait for him to get to work. Yeah.
But another quick question: if Ashton Jeanty, the running back out of Boise State, if he's there at six, do you pick him that high?
Ooh, I don't think so.
Yeah,
You know how they treat running backs in the NFL.
that's true.
But then again, Saquon had something to say about that, right? He's like, okay, you don't want to pay me, you want to release me or whatever it is, and
Go on and
next thing
win the
you know,
Super Bowl.
he's in a parade. He's in with the
Yeah.
last parade holding up the Super Bowl trophy. So, uh, but yeah, yeah, maybe a little early for a running back that high in the draft. Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely get a skilled player, someone who could, you know, um, maybe learn on the go.
All right, we'll move on to some other Raiders news. As if you don't know, the Raiders signed Maxx Crosby to a 3-year extension that will keep him with the Raiders till 2029. I'm pretty sure it was a 3-year, 100 and I think like 2 or $106 million deal.
Yeah,
Um, I mean that's big for the Raiders. I mean, what was when you saw the news breakdown? I mean, you got kind of
big
jump up a
money.
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, big money. So lock him in, right? Let's get him, make him happy. That way now he can just focus on, playing football. He doesn't have to worry about cash. He's going to be fine. And he's just been a sack machine since they drafted him. So you get a guy like that. Don't make a mistake like we did back when they let Khalil Mack go. So
yeah. When Gruden traded Mack to the
don't
Bears.
don't do that again because Khalil
Yeah.
Mack, he's a Hall of Famer. He's got his sack number. Every team he's been on, he's just been
Especially
productive.
recently, dude. He's
Yeah,
been great.
yeah. And so we I liked how we needed pass rusher after we got rid of Mack, and I was like, wait, why are we? So don't get rid of your pass rusher, right? Just lock him in. Crosby, the staple of that defense and build around him, get him some help. And yeah, no, I think you got to pay the man. So it's good. You got that position locked down.
Yeah, I mean, totally. Because on Crosby's podcast, he wasn't upset with his current contract. He just didn't have no more guaranteed money left, so that was his one issue there. And obviously, he wants to win. We haven't been great the past 2, 3 years. We were in the playoffs in 2022, but besides that, we just haven't been great. So there's trade talks going around. Like they should pit him in his hometown of Detroit, pair him with Aiden Hutchinson. So there's just a lot of buzz around his
Ooh,
name
yeah.
over the past couple months, and now they finally lock him down. He's gonna probably be a Raider the rest of his life, and it's good to see. I mean, yeah, ever since we drafted him in the fourth or fifth round. He's just been a defensive havoc. He's just been making play after
Yeah,
play.
he's a menace. You've seen him. He's ready sideline to sideline. He's a Pro Bowler, 4-time Pro Bowler. He's only 27, so there's another plus. I mean, he's a young guy. He's got his motors going nonstop, so that's the kind of guy you want on that side of the ball, and just continue to, like you say, wreak havoc and be that problem on defense.
Yeah, I mean, last season his season was cut short because he had ankle injury, but he had 7.5 sacks. He leads. I'm pretty sure the league in TFLs. But the year before that, he was dealing with a knee injury, like his knee was filled with fluids, but he played the season through it, and he ended up with a career high 14.5 sacks,
Wow.
90 combined tackles, 35 assist tackles. I mean, he's just such a good player, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to win games. He's playing through injuries, and one of the he's the best leader. He's the captain of the team,
Yeah.
and so like you said, instead of them, looking to move on and trade him, the new regime, they said, hey, you're our guy. We want to win with you, and so we're gonna reward you, and they definitely did. It's definitely good to see because he definitely deserved it. He definitely worked his butt off and earned that contract. But
Yeah.
another,
Now get him some help. Get him some help
yeah,
on the defensive side. Drawing a blank on the other guys on the line there. Who?
yeah, they got Christian Wilkins. He was out
That's right.
for most of the
That's
year
right. He was
with
hurt,
injury.
right?
He was
Okay.
out with the foot injury. Tyree Wilson's entering year three. He definitely did a lot better last year. And then Malcolm Kuntz is coming off I'm pretty sure he's a free agent this year. But hopefully they can re-sign him back. I mean, he didn't play at all last year. He tore his ACL in camp, and he was a monster the year before. So hopefully they could just get those guys healthy on the D line, re-sign a couple of guys, and maybe draft some more couple defensive guys or sign some corners. There's rumors that they're not going to re-sign Nate Hobbs, so that's another corner they're down right now. They have Jack. I know they got Jack Jones and Jacorian Bennett. Jacorian Bennett was great before he went out
Wow.
with the year with injury. So yeah, you just like you said, hope they keep building the defense around them. And because that's me, that's what you got to win. Your defense wins championships, right? You saw it with the Eagles. They won in the trenches. They won on the offensive line. They won on the defensive line. So I mean, I think that's what the Raiders are looking to do. Especially with John Spytek, their new GM. He won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. That's why he brought in Alex Kappa, the guard. From the Bengals. He did have his worst year of his career last year. He led up the most, I think, sacks and all that. He had like a triple crown in all the wrong categories. But they bring him in
Uh-oh.
because yeah, they bring him in on a 2-year deal. But you gotta hope the Raiders' O line was pretty good last year, and you hope he's probably gonna be fighting for a starting position because they have Colton Miller at left tackle. They have Dylan Parham at left guard. The rookie last year, Jackson Powers Johnson. Hope he's the starting center because they're going to release Andre James. So he'll be fighting with Jordan Meredith on that right guard spot because they have DJ Glaze at right tackle. So they're going to be building the trenches. And, I mean, that's how you got to win games. I mean, Philly's done it, and you just kind of hope to replicate it.
Yeah. Give Geno some time. Give him some time. That way, he could get us 4,300 yards. Which, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
number to go after.
it is because last year he did not have a good O line. I think Seattle had one of the worst O lines. They didn't really have a run game, and that's why he had his worst year last year because they weren't that great on the offensive line side. So hopefully Raiders' offensive line is better for him, and hopefully we can get a running game established, unlike last year where we couldn't run the ball. But hopefully new play caller will help out with that.
Yeah, and I think they're not. Doesn't seem like they're not done. The Raiders in looking for players to improve their team. That's why you see the Metcalf's requesting a trade, and who knows, maybe there's a phone call made, and I don't know how hands on. You always hear Tom Brady's involved in this stuff. I don't know how involved he is, or if he's even doing any of that talking and trying to get people to play for the Raiders. So we'll see how they are moving forward with free agency and yeah, like you said, the draft to help the team.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna switch over from the NFL to the NBA. The other day, I'll share my screen for us. Other day, Shaq said some. I wouldn't say bold, but some people would say bold. Hold on, I think I messed this up actually. Some people would say it was pretty bold, but
Who? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'd say LeBron's fans, but this is what he
LeBron
said.
fans would say it's bold.
Curry in that greatest of all time conversation. As
That's
the
it.
supreme leader of the Big Man Alliance, I demand you fans to start putting Steph Curry in that greatest of all time conversation. Just start putting them in the conversation.
So the conversation of Jordan,
Mike,
LeBron, Kobe.
LeBron, start putting Steph in that conversation.
Yes.
I demand it.
Why did
Yeah, and I liked how he said the supreme leader of the big man. Shaq is speaking because he knows he played with those guys. He's played with Jordan. He's played not with him but against them and
Yeah, he played
Kobe.
against Jordan.
LeBron.
Played against LeBron, and he
Woo.
did play against Curry at the end of his career. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's a so for a Curry fan, it's not a bold statement to me. But I guess some fans around the league it would be bold. I mean, when you heard that, because I know you sent it to me on Instagram, and you were like, "This shit, is this a
Yeah.
topic on the
Oh,
podcast?" And I said, "Definitely."
I was like, about time. Like, I've always said you talk about Steph Curry. It's almost like for me, like the Warrior. Okay, Jordan, Curry. Like talk about him next. I mean, what he has done for the game, what he has just done. Period. I mean, we all know all the accolades. He just surpassed 25,000 points tonight
Yeah, he did.
against the Detroit Pistons. He's just, it seems like almost every other day there's some kind of record that he's going at the 3 points. I like he's got the most 7 3-pointers in the game, and he's blown everybody away by like 50. He's just, we saw him against the Houston Rockets. All the fans were staying there waiting. Now we were over there at the Toyota, I think it's a Toyota Center, and everybody was just still there waiting, chanting. Him waiting for him to finish his interview so he could sign autographs, pictures, whatever it may be. They were chanting MVP in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. In year 16, he's getting MVP chance. He got it in Orlando when he dropped 56. He's got it in Brooklyn when he dropped 40. I mean, that's just not something you hear from a guy who's turning 37 next week.
He hit that 3-pointer in the corner and did a little night after that, and I mean, it was loud over there. There was a lot of Curry jerseys, a lot of Curry fans, and there's so many things that make me say yes, that guy needs to be in that conversation, and let's write all the championships down, let's write all the MVPs, whatever it may be to what constitutes a GOAT status.
Yeah, I mean he's been an All-Star 10 times. He's won 2 MVPs. He's won a Finals MVP, and he's won 4 rings. I mean, he's the reason that there's a GOAT, that there was the first original GOAT debate between MJ and LeBron. He's the reason LeBron doesn't have more rings. I mean, he stopped LeBron from getting 3 championships and probably 3 more Finals MVP. I mean, he's the reason LeBron's got a losing Finals record.
Let's not forget the Olympics too. The Olympics that just passed.
The Olympics game. He's the reason. He's was probably the biggest reason they won gold.
He did his thing, and he was hitting 3-pointers, and we all know against France what he did. And I like the play. There was a play where they just started giving him the ball. Now this is LeBron, this is Kevin Durant, this is Booker, this is all these all-star other GOATs themselves, Hall of Fame players. They're passing the ball to Curry. I go, there's 2 guys on Curry.
Yeah, he had that one shot where he had Katie wide open on the wing, but instead of passing, I mean, he shot it. And of course, Steph Curry, dude, he's gonna make it. I mean, he's just been that type of player. He revolutionized the game. People weren't shooting
Yeah.
threes left and right until he came in the league. And,
Mhm.
like you said earlier, he hit 25,000 points. I remember I saw that, and people were like, well, only 25,000 more till he catches LeBron. But it's like, he didn't play 2 full seasons. He was out with injury for 2 full seasons. He played one season for 5 games. He played the next. We only played 20 games in one season. But to start his career, he wasn't a day one starter like LeBron was. When LeBron joined the league, he was dropping 20 plus a game. He was the chosen one, right? Curry wasn't that guy. Curry was, they have the documentary on him called Underrated. He was the underrated guard coming out of Davidson. Had high hopes for him. Almost got traded to Milwaukee, and so like that's why when people are like, I'm like, you guys are criticizing him, but he wasn't supposed to be like LeBron. He honestly people doubted him. He wasn't supposed to be as good as he is,
Yeah,
and
it was
now he's
gonna
one
be
of now he's
right. It
one
was
of the
gonna
best
be
to ever do it.
Monte Ellis or Steph Curry. Which one was it? Right, it was gonna be one of those guys. And but yeah, you're right. It was this all this wasn't supposed to happen, and it's still continuing. I mean, he still has a chip on his shoulder, and he's
Yeah,
out there. They got Jimmy Butler. They're going for another one.
they're
They,
going for it.
you
I
keep
mean,
telling. Stop doubting number 30. I mean, as long as he's there. I mean, he just hit 56 the other night. I think. What did he have? 40? I can't
yeah, he
recall
had 40
his.
against Brooklyn.
Yeah, and did the night night there. He did the night night to everybody in Paris as well. So you know
Yeah,
what I mean. Told the whole country to go to sleep. It's over. We won gold, and that's a goat status right there. That's you know when he's putting Hall of Famers on his back and doing what he did down the stretch in those last 2 minutes of that gold medal game. Yeah, that's what constitutes the goat to me. The goat to me, and yeah, he should be talked about. And that subject's always like something it's definitely debatable. It depends on who you grew up watching too. I mean,
yeah.
I don't. I mean, for you, who's like the guy you go, oh, he was unstoppable. He's a goat. Was it Kobe?
For me. It was Curry. I
It
mean,
was Curry. Okay.
growing up, I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
I
a young
grew up
guy. You're a
watching.
young guy.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
why.
a young guy. Well, growing up, I was watching those finals against LeBron. He took 3 out of the 4,
Yeah.
and that's who I grew up with. And
Yeah.
for me, Curry's always been. He won the 2 MVPs when he was young in his career, and I felt like he wasn't getting those MVP chants in away stadiums like he is now. And it's been like that for the past couple years. But if you really watch him games, like in primetime games, big games, I mean, he's an incredible player. I mean, yeah, in his career, he's averaging only about 25 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. But in the playoffs, he's averaging 27, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. I mean, he's just such a special player. And then here in the finals, he's still averaging 27, 6 assists. And when he won that Finals MVP against Boston, he was dropping. He was, I think, averaging 31 or 32. I mean, he's an unreal player. And the plays he makes, the shots he makes, no one else can do it. He's like one of a kind.
Yeah. He's doing it, different from everybody else. Jordan, he's taking it to the paint. He's dunking over you.
Yeah,
Kobe, he's got the jump shot there.
the mid range.
He's also got the Mamba mentality. He's gonna dunk over you too. See, these guys always LeBron, we know, take it right to the basket whenever you feel like it. Curry not built like them. He ain't a strong guy for his position,
Yeah,
and he's gonna beat you at the half court mark, right as soon as he
yeah,
goes over that half court, he's going to shoot that three and he's going to make it. Or, he off the ball, he's nonstop running through screens, running around him, whatever it is, getting the ball. He's beating you with the 3 points. I mean, before back in the day, they were drafting big men. Big men was the game.
yeah.
Everyone's trying to draft the next Shaq, right? So now how did that change? You take the center out. Now everybody's playing small ball.
Hmm.
Everybody's playing. You take the
They're
center
look
out.
they're looking for the guy who can shoot threes.
Yeah, they're looking. Guess what they're looking for? A skinny guy who can shoot the three.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, yeah,
changing the game.
it really is. Because I mean, like you said, both MJ and Mike were about like 6'5", 6'6". They weren't
Strong.
small, but they also weren't big. They were strong. They had the mid range. They would dominate. LeBron, he's what 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and
Yeah.
he's just like built. He could get you into the rim. He could hit the mid range. He could dunk you in transition. And Curry. isn't that physically gifted. You know, he had the ankle injury, so he couldn't really dunk on you. He still can't. You know, he dunked the other day in Philly, and he said that was the last one of his career. But yeah, I
Exactly.
mean,
He's another one for
he had to
me.
adapt to what he was like. You know, he was a smaller guard. You know, and there's all these tall defenders, but he makes it work. I mean, he's just special.
Yeah. And I, and I'm older, so I've been watching a lot of 3-point shooters. Okay, Ray Allen, yeah, he shot. He had the record, right? He was
Yeah,
shooting the ball, making 3-pointers. Mike Miller, Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller.
There's just Mark Price was also a guy. Jeff Hornacek. There's some guys they were shooting, but nobody shot the ball like this guy here. They didn't
Yeah,
even attempt that many threes back in the day. This
and
guy,
no one still does.
yeah. I
And
mean,
even these newer guys, they're coming out like someone like Trae Young. Trae Young is a great 3-point shooter, but he's not shooting like Curry.
yeah,
If you looked at the
yeah,
stats of like what was it, 9+ 3-pointers made in the game. I mean, he has got like Curry has like 80. Next closest is at like 20 something, and I think it's James Harden and Curry and Clay. You know,
right. Clay's the next guy in a lot of those stats. His splash brother, and that's why when you first, like Mark Jackson called it the greatest backcourt to play. It's like he said that early, like he said that really early, and come 10 years later, you're like, damn, you're right. You
yeah,
ain't lying, man. Those guys were, to be 1 and 2 in a lot of records for 3-pointers made. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And but yeah, it all depends who you talk to about the GOAT. The GOAT debate. If you watch Jordan play, for me, I say Jordan, he's the GOAT. I mean, this guy,
yeah.
6 championships. There's so many stats on him that he's number one at. So
Yeah.
I think
He
it's
won three in a row, took a break, came back, won three in a
yeah.
row again. I mean,
Went to go play baseball.
yeah. He was a gambling addict, apparently. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was gambling. He was, hitting the roulette table or whatever it may be, and came back, won some more rings, and he's playing. He was playing against the center guy, the Patrick Ewings, the Hakeem Olajuwons, all those guys who would rough him up, the bad boy teams we were talking about before, and
Yeah.
so yeah, for me, he was the guy. I've seen his whole career from college all the way to the end. Been lucky enough to see Kobe's whole career. Shaq's career, and Curry's career. I watched all that basketball. I never seen a guy like Curry. I never seen a guy shoot the ball like that. And
Don't.
maybe the next Curry is, I'm not even around anymore, because it took that
Yeah.
long to see a guy like that. And who knows? I mean, to see the next Curry, I very doubtful. Very
Yeah.
doubtful.
Very. I definitely do believe he deserves to be in that GOAT conversation. He's got the accolades. But there's still the debate. Is he the best point guard of all time? I mean, I certainly think he is. Magic was, what, 6'9", 6'10"? I mean,
Yeah. He
what do you
played.
think?
He played center. He played center in one. I think his first championship, Magic Johnson. And yeah, see, so I'm old enough to have watched Magic, not his whole career, but Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, that rivalry. Yeah, that was good basketball. That was what kind of their little rivalry back and forth is what gained popularity for the NBA back in the 80s, mid 80s and stuff. And Jordan came in and changed all that. but
Yeah.
but those guys were getting older. But yeah, Magic was 5 rings, I think.
Yeah, I
But
think he has 5 rings.
he's got a lot of hardware too, and he was the commander of those Showtime Lakers. Just no look passes here and there, and just a smart basketball player. And but yeah, he's in GOAT category. He always brings it up. I seen him say like he he could tell you his stats off the top of his head.
Yeah.
compare this. This is what I have. But
So do you think he's the best point guard of all time, better than Curry? Or you think Curry's ahead of him?
no, I'm a Curry guy, man. I'm a Curry guy. I'm taking Curry. But again, like I said, it all depends on who you talk to. For me, a Warrior fan, he's the guy who just makes everything run.
Yeah.
You see all these different players on the Warriors, and they're still number 30 is the staple, and he's the one who's we need to get guys for him. Jimmy Butler. Let's get this 7-footer out of
Yeah.
the G League too. Quinn Post. Let's get him to buy in Pajetsky. Elevate everybody else's game, and I'm going with Curry. That's why I always jump to. For me, you go Jordan, Curry. Maybe that's just because I wasn't much of a Laker fan. They were too dominant.
Yeah.
Kobe was pretty. Hey, every time Warriors played Kobe back in the days, I mean, it was just we had Baron Davis to throw at him.
Yeah.
Nothing against Baron Davis. It's just like you're not beating Kobe. We had Antoine Jameson to throw at him. It was a good players the Warriors had, but it's just not to a GOAT. He's going to win more times than they lose. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's good that I hear that from the big man Shaq saying like, hey,
Yeah.
he's
a
always
big
talked
name.
good about Curry. He's always talked,
Yeah.
He's not like Kendrick Perkins, who continues to put down Curry and how he shouldn't have been
Yeah.
in the All-Star game, right? Then what does he do? He ends up getting the MVP. Even he's always been debatable, right? Like everything that he does, people are going to find something else, and he's just going to continue to win games, and we'll see how this season goes.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, yeah. I mean, Curry, like, yeah. I mean, he's almost at. I'm pretty sure he's 7 threes away from 4,000 threes. I mean, that's just unbelievable. I believe, I'll end off on a hot take right here. I believe he wins another championship. He's better. He's better than LeBron all time. I believe so. I mean, like I said, he beat him 3 out of 4 times. I mean, MJ was he undefeated in the finals? And I mean, yeah, there's the argument. Well, he barely made it to the playoffs in like his 6th year, but it's like, so what? He when he got the biggest games of his life, he won them. I mean,
Yeah.
And then there's the argument. Well, okay, well, LeBron had to go against the super team, and it's like, okay,
We're looking
it's not
for
like
excuses.
he was still playing with the 2007 Cavaliers.
Yeah, right.
He was playing with, he still had Kyrie and Kevin Love, and in 2018 he had well, I think Dwayne Wade. I know Dwayne Wade was out of his prime, but he had Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, Kyle
Wade and,
Korver.
Bosh. He had Bosh too, right? Yeah, so he
all
had
these
good
older
players too. He's had good players on his team. Those are the kind of guys who get to the finals anyways as good teams. You talk about the Bulls, right? The Bulls had Pippen, Rodman, right? All these teams end up having, solid players that get them there. So yeah, I mean, they could put asterisks or this guy didn't play or that guy didn't play or Kawhi Leonard got hurt or you can do that for everything. But
and that's what they say in 2015. Kyrie got hurt, Kevin Love got hurt, but LeBron's still he's LeBron. He's supposed to win those games, right? I mean, Curry, the Warriors are still coming up. Obviously Curry was a big name, but Clay wasn't the All-Star that he was. He wasn't the All-Star until like the season or two after. Draymond was. I don't think he won the Defensive Player yet. I mean, they weren't the big name guys yet. They were still on the come up. That was like the year they got their names out. But so I'm enough on that. I think Curry wins ring number 5 and Finals MVP number 2. I think he's second to MJ all time. But
I'm with you, man. Let's do it. That'd be great. That'd be something else for sure.
I thank you guys all for tuning in and listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Follow us on Spotify, or on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I'd like to thank my guest, my uncle. Thank you for joining us, and until then, stay ready.